Hello and welcome to another episode of the Voices of the Vic podcast, the Watford fan podcast. As always, I'm Ben Ayton, and joining me tonight is Cameron Smart and Joe Thomas. Firstly, I'll come to Cam. I saw him at the weekend. How are you doing, mate? You all good?
Yes, mate, I am good. I've got the football fever back. It helps that we're signing everyone at the moment. And had a great time on Saturday at Wealdstone. Just up the road from where I am in Wembley. So it was about 5 stops on the Met line. Beautiful sunny day. Loads of Watford fans turned out. Not the most entertaining game of football, but it's always just nice to get back into it after a few months off, and especially with, how we're all feeling about the transfer window at the moment. It's exciting. So, yeah, I had a great time. Nice to see you. I saw a few other people as well, Gareth, a few others, and great day out. But yeah, how are you doing, Ben?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate. No, it was good to see you and catch a game with you. I don't normally get to sit with you to watch a game, and it was quite difficult because I had my little girl with me, so she was distracting me with lots of bits and pieces and going backwards and forwards to the burger van. It was good, and like you say, it's just getting back into the swing of things and seeing football. So yeah, no, very enjoyable on my side. Joe, how are you doing, mate? Do you want to talk to everyone about your new Georgie Chapadowski haircut?
Yeah, well, I thought I'd try something new. Wanted to be like my hero, didn't I? I'm good, thanks, mate. Obviously not been to either of the games, so a bit disappointed and a bit jealous to have missed out. As pre-season's always fun. Cam and I experienced a couple, didn't we, in succession last season?
Was a great pre-season. I was thinking about that earlier because I went and got that same meal that we got before Gillingham away.
Yeah, but, I'm looking forward to doing Leighton Orient on the 26th. Finally got a ticket for that as they released some more, as Cam said they would do. You're going, aren't you, Cam?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Is Mike going as well?
No, I don't think so.
Is he not running the day after? I thought he was running.
Yeah, he is, and I think that's why he's not going.
Yeah, he's doing a 10K with me in Hatfield on the Sunday.
Well, it's like up the road. It's like up the road. You can do Leighton Orient and then go and do the run. But what's the problem? Come on, in the comments, like
he could still do it, but I reckon the wife isn't letting him out.
It's all starting to add up now, isn't it? No, I've actually done 2 pre-season games now, back to back. I've done the Boreham Wood game, and then I've done the AFC Wimbledon. I haven't done back-to-back like away games. I'm classing them as away games for a very long time. But
technically, we were at home on Saturday.
Yeah, we had 3 stands, Cam, didn't we? And Wimbledon had that little quarter in the corner behind the goal.
Yeah, well, they got given the biggest stand, but they brought no one. So, we could have done with that stand.
And what annoyed me was the only active burger van in the ground was given to away fans, where they only had 100 fans.
Yeah,
there was nothing for the Watford fans. You had to leave the ground to the burger van to get your food.
And I left the ground, but before I did so, I asked the steward if I can leave and come back in, and they were like, "Yeah, you'll be fine." So leave, go get a drink, come back in. The woman at the door is on my case, like, "Oh, your ticket's already been scanned." And I'm like, I knew this would happen. I knew it would happen. But eventually I managed to blag my way back in. So constructive criticism, give the home fans a burger van next time.
Or just play the game.
They would have made so much more money for doing that.
Play the game at the right stadium and actually just play at Wimbledon.
That would also be nice. Although I got to tick off a new ground doing that. I haven't done Wealdstone.
Well, at least you saw the goals. My missus missed both goals.
Yeah, she did.
She went. I'd have wanted the toilet and a drink, so she went out, missed the penalty, and then she missed Watford goal as well. Oh, well, that's enough of a pre-season games. As you know, it's been a busy week or so at Watford. And today we're going to be talking about all things Watford, discussing the 2 pre-season friendlies that we had for trips to Boreham Wood and also AFC Wimbledon. We'll go through results, performances and the players that have impressed us and what we've learnt so far, or maybe what we didn't learn about the squad as we build for the new championship season. We'll also give our thoughts on what still needs addressing in the transfer market. Obviously, there's been lots of news about the transfer market for Watford in the last probably 72 hours. So we'll definitely go into that, and we'll probably start with that very soon. But yeah, plenty to talk about, plenty to debate. So whether you're listening at home or on your go, or you're counting down the days until the start of the season, thanks for joining us, and let's get started. Cam, where do you want to start first? What potential signing do you want to start with?
I think the one we should get out of the way is Luca Kjerrumgaard, probably the most exciting one for me, just because how long has it been since we've had a good striker? And look, I'm not going to go around saying I've watched this bloke play. He's coming from the Danish second tier, but everybody is talking about this guy, and I'm not just talking about Watford fans. I'm talking about every club in the Championship's got their experts that sort of, they know more about the tactical side of football. They know about the niche markets, and they've all got this list of players that are, they universally agree that are really good, and they're all excited about Kjerrumgaard. They're all incredibly jealous of us. And how does that feel that, finally clubs are jealous of Watford recruitment-wise again? After we've been signing all the Bios and the Kayembes for years, and the Samuel Kalous, we're finally getting what, at least looks like a sensible striker signing, doesn't it? And it's nice to have that feeling that, I'm not saying these guys we're signing are gonna, set the world on fire, but you can see what we're doing. You can see that we're moving in the right direction. We're making smart decisions, and we're back in the manager. That's what it looks like to me. And yeah, Luca Kjerrumgaard seems like a big statement.
Yeah, no, definitely. I heard earlier, because I've been worried about talking about him all day because I know I'm going to butcher his name. I actually found out that you actually say it it's a silent K, so it's Luca Kjerrumgaard. So it's a silent K, which you'll probably hear in some videos soon. He's actually passed his medical at Watford and is due to be announced as a Watford player tomorrow ahead of his proposed move from OB in Denmark. Watford identified him as the number one target in a centre forward position. Watford have also beaten off interest from top European clubs, including Serie A champions Napoli and also Portuguese giant Porto, who have also signed signs from Norwich in the last couple of days. Kjerrumgaard scored 22 goals as OB won promotion from the Danish second tier last season, and will compete with the club's striking options ahead of a 25-26 season. He also won the Golden Boot for OB last season by helping them lead back to top flight football. In 29 appearances last year, he scored 22 goals and got 7 assists. Luca stands at 6'2" and is seen as a final piece in the attacking puzzle for Watford as they mount a challenge under Pezzolano. Joe, Cam's obviously very excited by the signing of Kjerrumgaard. Are you feeling the same?
I am actually, just simply because we're investing and there's money being spent, and when there's money being spent, it's exciting because you can tell that they clearly believe this guy's good enough for us. Gino doesn't usually chuck money at somebody unless he believes they're good enough. Usually he'll just go in on frees and loans, wouldn't he? So the fact that is it €5 million we're spending on him?
It's €5 million Udinese is spending on him.
Oh yeah, because he's coming in on loan.
Yeah, he's joining on a season-long loan from Udinese, but there's an obligation to sign at the end of the season.
Is that if we're promoted, or is that just whether
that's just an obligation flat out?
Right.
No matter. But you'd assume that it's a very low figure, if there even is a figure attached to it. It could just be
free transfer.
Yeah, basically the money's going on Udinese's balance sheet for the financial year. it's going to go to them for PSR, and then we're just going to get the player for free. Just while we still can obviously use that loophole, he's clearly just rinsing everything he can out of Udinese before he sells them.
Yeah,
he seems like a really good striker from what I saw in the videos. Have you seen the clips of him, Joe?
No, I've not watched any clips of him yet. I've only been watching clips of Irankunda at the moment. I was watching a video of him of his time in Australia, and that was thrilling. But I've not seen any of Kjerrumgaard at the moment, so I'll have a little look later and see. But yeah, just going back to it, I am excited by it. He sounds like the striker that we've craved for probably the last 2 or 3 seasons. Hopefully he'll come in, hit the ground running, score a couple of goals early in the season, then go on to, just flourish and be a really good player. Yeah, exciting times.
The Danish club he's leaving, OB, didn't actually want him to leave and actually offered him for captaincy for next season, which is interesting. So they obviously think highly of him and tried to do things behind the scenes to keep him, but he's obviously been attracted to Watford, and it's an exciting moment at the moment at Vicarage Road, Cam, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I don't know what's going on, really. Like, where has this come from? Where this sort of willingness to bring in good players and, actually build a squad that's capable of promotion? I don't understand what's changed. I don't know why we couldn't do it before. I don't know why Cleverley had to go for all this to happen. But it's refreshing. I can't, I'm not used to this. I don't think in the time I've been watching Watford, we've had one good transfer window. So it's nice to see we're actually signing players that other clubs want, and we're building a squad that, even if we don't get what we want this season and the squad gets ripped apart a little bit, we're still going to have something to build on next season. We've got 3 strikers, we've got a left back plus Wiley coming back on loan. We've got 4 centre backs. We've got 3 right backs. Even if we lose players, we've got something to build on. We might even have 4 or 5 wingers by the end of the window. Last season, we had 2 wingers, and one of them got injured, and one of them got a virus that took him out for the season. So it's squad building.
Yeah.
It's not just signing players anymore. It's actually building a squad, and with that squad, we can at least be competitive, and we can at least challenge for something, because it's been far too long since we've been able to do that. And yeah, it's just nice to see we're sort of heading in the right direction for once.
I described it to Joe the other day in the group chat as Gino's playing Football Manager.
Yeah. I think that's about right.
I stand by that. It's an exciting time, and he's just making all the signings of the highly rated youngsters that you're hoping to get into your team, and you sell on and make a bit of money at the end of it. But it's a clever move for Watford, Joe, isn't it? As in, you're buying the right age profile, you're buying people who can improve, and if they succeed, you'll get a lot of money out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I said many weeks ago, didn't I, that Gino's a money man, isn't he? He just wants to invest in people, sell them on for big prices, fill his pockets. Obviously, I think he believes that this sale of Udinese, I think he can't really take him much further. Cam would probably agree that, after 39 years, he's probably looking at it. And I said this, that the money's in the Premier League. That's clear from the money that I said in the last podcast we did, that how much Southampton got from relegation compared to what Inter and Napoli got from highly succeeding in Serie A last season. There's no money in that league. So he's probably looked at it now and gone, I sell Udinese and put as much money as I can into getting this team into the Premier League. His pockets are going to be lined even more next season. And for many years to come, if we can get up and stay up again and have a successful period of 4 or 5 years again in the Premier League, it's going to be hundreds of millions that are going to be coming through the club's door. He's invested. listen, we've wanted it and we've needed it for a long time. But the fact that he's doing it now is just pleasing to see. The question, one thing I've been seeing on social media is a lot of people have been calling out the Gino haters. A question I put to both of you, Ben, if you want to answer first. Do you still want Gino out of the club, or based on what he's doing, would you be happy for him to stay for a period of time if he wants to continue to invest like he is and continue to build, if he's going to do it successfully for the next maybe 3-4 years?
It's a very difficult question. And I also think football fans have a short memory. I think if with what Gino's doing at the moment, and if it all goes in the right direction, then I think a lot of Watford fans will be very pro Gino again. And at the moment, I'm in the boat of, let's give him another chance. Let's just see what else he can do. And I think he's putting his money where his mouth is at the moment, and he's trying to rectify things. And look, I think he can hold his hands up and be like, look, maybe I've been putting my eggs in the wrong basket, and now you are getting my full attention. And his actions is saying to me that he's putting Watford first, and we all know that he's looking to sell Udinese. So for me, I'm fully behind Gino again. You might call me silly, you might call me gullible, you might call me other stronger things, but at the moment, I can't say anything about him after seeing what he's doing in the transfer window.
Yeah, I'm the same as that, to be honest. I'm not saying that, I want him to move back in fully and, we're all like in love with him, but I'm pro Gino at the moment, just for the fact that he's doing the right thing by the club and investing in the squad and signing better players for us. We want to see better players at the club. We've seen people like,
don't get me wrong,
Pedro and people like that, Sarr, and all these people come through the door and go, and we've not had that quality. And I think with some of the wingers that we're signing, like Irankunda, we've got obviously Bar and Chavicazzi, people like that. And if we get this Diallo as well, we've got this. I can't remember the guy's name. Who's the other guy we've just signed from? Is it France? Mama.
I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, we've got exciting players.
We're signing too many players.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Cam, what's your feelings on Gino at the moment?
Look, yeah, I agree. It's very tough. I don't like a lot of what Gino sort of represents in terms of what we've been, had to put up with for the last few years. I don't like all the Mogi buyout stuff. I don't like all of the managers being sacked. I don't like. I just don't like how things have gone. I don't like that we constantly sort of, we get told one thing by the ownership and then the opposite happens. I don't like that at all. And it's felt like there's been, a real sort of neglect towards us as fans from the club for a long time. That might well be repairing now, but it's just gone on for far too long for me. And I don't like where Watford Football Club has been for the past few years. Now, I can see that Gino's doing what he can to rectify that. Now, is he doing it for us? Is he doing it for money? It's obviously for money, but who cares? If he's going to make us good at football, then that's all we want, isn't it? So, yeah, given the big change that's come in, and that is that Udinese is being sold, you can maybe give him the benefit of the doubt and say things are going to be different now. And the early signs are things are indeed going to be different now, but it's just a case of, is this a one-off? Can it last any longer? Because, he's going completely against his own model here. He's the intent is very clearly to keep Chakvetadze, Bar and Loser. And it looks like we may well do that, fingers crossed. But are we going to do that every year? Probably not. No, I think if we don't go up, then all three of those are going to be gone next season, and possibly even, some of the other talents, Irankunda, Vata, whoever else, Caben could be gone. Any of those, we've got a lot of young talent at the moment, and they could all move on. So you just got to see how this season goes, and I'm happy to stick with Gino for this season to see how it goes. But if the moment we don't get promoted, the shit hits the pan again, then I'm not going to be surprised one bit. Put it that way.
We all got to remember as well, though, but Gino didn't say we're going to win promotion. He wants to be challenging for promotion. So I think fans need to be careful with wanting promotion and challenging for promotion, because they're two totally different things. And in my eyes, challenging for promotion would be like a top 8 finish, as in you're in the playoff mix and it goes down to the final game of the season. Obviously, you want to be in the playoffs in the last game of the season, but if we're still got something to play for in the last game of the season, then I see that as a successful season for Watford and an improvement on last year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I just, what I'm worried about? I feel like people are going to be comparing this season and last season in terms of the manager's performance, and everything this season for me, it hinges on if Pezzolano can put his money where his mouth is, really, because it sounds like he's got good pedigree. He gets teams promoted, he wins titles, but can he do it over here? We've put together a fantastic squad for him now. We really have, and the expectation isn't, for me, it isn't just to do better than last season. It's to really, knock it out of the park this season, and definitely need to be getting in that playoffs to make it sort of justifiable that Cleverley got sacked in the first place. Because that's what all of this hinges on for me. It's we sacked Cleverley, an evidently good manager. Is it going to prove to be the right decision or the wrong decision? That's what it hinges on for me. And if we don't get playoffs at the minimum, then it's the wrong decision for me.
No, that's fair enough. Thank you, everyone, for your comments as well tonight and for watching. Just going to read a couple out now for everyone who's listening. Melanie, thank you for watching tonight, Melanie. Hope you're well. She says, feel more positive than a few weeks ago, but the owners are putting everything on this season alone. Just seems rash. And Mike, hope you're well, mate. He says it's shit or bust this season. Could be quite hairy next season if promotion isn't achieved. We've gone off a massive tangent there, but I think it was an important discussion to have. So thank you very much for getting the ball rolling there, Joe. Let's talk about the next potential signing. We've talked about Kjerrumgaard being announced tomorrow. Irankunda from Bayern Munich is having his Watford medical tomorrow. So let's talk about the Australian international a little bit. So he's flown to the UK this evening, undergoing his medical with a club tomorrow ahead of sealing a permanent transfer from Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich. I think originally there was a report saying there was a loan, but then quickly another report came out saying it was a permanent transfer, and that is correct. The winger is due to sign for Watford for about 3 or 4 million euros in total. There's a 50% sell-on clause and matching rights as part of the agreement between Watford and Bayern Munich. He will sign I've seen a couple of figures floating around, a 4-year or a 5-year deal. Either way, it's a long contract for a really talented player to come in. Judging by some videos that I've watched, he looks some player. Like, he looks honestly incredible. But we've been there before, Joe, haven't we? Alexandra Merkel, highly rated, came in, sent off. Didn't really feature him anymore after that. But this guy seems absolutely mustard. The 19-year-old can play in various attacking positions, made his name as one of the most exciting talents of his age when he broke through at Adelaide United in the A-League at just 16. His career stats so far, he played 61 games for Adelaide, scoring 16 goals with 8 assists. Last season, he went to Switzerland and played for Grasshoppers. In his loan spell, he played 21 games, scored 1 and assisted 3 times. And then for Australia, he's played 5 times, 1 goal and 1 assist. Irankunda is someone who can be utilised down either flank and central if necessary, but his work comes out. His best work comes out of the wide positions, down to his incredible speed. There are areas of his game that can be developed, but Watford will hope that he can kick on at the club. And if Irankunda starts to fulfil his potential at Vicarage Road, they could have a serious player on their hands, which is why Bayern Munich have felt the need to protect themselves with the deal by including a sell-on clause and a buyback clause. Cam, what's your thoughts on the Australian international Irankunda?
Yeah, completely out of nowhere, this one. It just sort of broke last night, and then it broke out like wildfire, really. I actually remember when he went to Bayern a few years ago, I saw a highlight reel come up on my Twitter feed, and someone was like, oh, yeah, this guy is the next big thing. So it's that kind of play, it's one of those the next big thing kind of players that maybe hasn't quite kicked on in the last few years how he maybe would have expected to. And we're that club, that middle ground between the Australian League and Bayern Munich, where he's going to hopefully find his feet. And yeah, it's like you said, I've only heard he's lightning quick, and he might even make Kjerrumgaard Bar look quite slow. We can hope. But the big thing for me, Ben, I don't know if you had this same observation on Saturday. Rocco Vata out on the left. He obviously amazingly talented player, keeps the ball really well. Doesn't feel like he's got the pace to maybe, take on his man all the time. He isn't quite that versatile wide player that can sort of go both ways, and he'll have you on toast all game because you just can't keep up with him. Vata, he likes to play more on the inside. So to bring in a wide option that's going to get him behind, that is, it's that bit of variety that you need that we haven't really had for a long time. And it seems really sensible to me. And obviously it's another one that every other club in the league is jealous of. So yeah, long may we continue making moves like this.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited by it. It's a very direct player. I thought very similar with how Kjerrumgaard Bar plays. He wins a lot of penalties. He's very direct, dribbles into the box. And the numbers, Joe, of not just goals, assists that he brings to the team is encouraging. And I just think that last season we struggled massively with squad depth. Especially when Kjerrumgaard Bar went out injured, and Rocco Vata struggled with his virus that he picked up in the second part of the season. We didn't really have people to replace him. That's why we saw Messiah Edwards come into the team, Nabazada. We saw Musa Sissoko move over to the right-hand side. But now we're stockpiling wingers and quality wingers, which should massively help our cause for next season. But what's excited you the most about the potential arrival of Irankunda?
Well, like I said, I've been watching that video that was posted of all his goals at Adelaide, and he's a player that isn't afraid to shoot, which I like. We know Luz has been good at taking free kicks. It also looks like Irankunda's going to be a good free kick taker as well, and we've kind of been lacking that for a few years since Abdi came out the side and the squad. I've got to say that I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of people that are coming in that position, because if Vata, Chadvikatsi and Bar all stay fit, the fact that we've got this guy who said about who did we say? Mama, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Mama?
Yeah.
We've got him. We've got Irankunda. They're still saying that they want to sign Diallo on top. We're potentially going to have 6 wingers. How do you keep all of them happy? Chadvikatsi's got to start because he's Well, if I'm being completely honest, I actually think that Barr and Chadwick-Hatsey have got to start every week. But then what do you do? Because you go, all right, well, we've got Vatter as a backup, but then we've also got now 3 other wingers as potential backup. I think
with the whole Chatvidassi, sorry, Joe. I think Cam might say the same. We were talking about this weekend. We see Chatvidassi playing as that number 10 role, so he won't be playing on the wings. We've seen how Watford have set up. That number 10 role is perfect for Chatvidassi.
Yeah,
so
it was a 4-2-3-1 both the preseason games, and I think it was Sissoko played as the number 10 at Wealdstone. And he's obviously not meant to be the number 10, but that gives you sort of 3 attacking positions there where you can use all of those sort of attacking options that we've got. You mentioned that there could be 6 players where there's 3 positions, 2 per position. And I think what we could see maybe is, I mentioned Vatter's sort of lack of explosive pace. You could see him potentially in that middle, number 10 role. Obviously, Chakbatadze is going to be the main man in that number 10 role. And then Kwadwo Bar, you'd think, will start most games on the right when he's fit. But these guys aren't always going to be fit. And obviously, it's cliche, but 3 games a week sometimes, you've got to manage that. And these are young players who are going to be fighting for their lives to get minutes for us. And they're all going to be hungry for it. So it's a great problem to have, and they're all going to sort of improve each other with that competition, I think. So yeah, it's I'd much rather have it that way than sort of having no options like we have for a long time, where Sissoko's had to play out there. We've been over reliant on a aging Ken Stemmer as well. So yeah, it's nice to have young, fast options there and lots of competition. That's my take on it, Joe. But yeah, I mean, I see your point about we could potentially have too many if Diallo comes in as well.
Do you think then to start the season then potentially? Obviously, we've got no idea about who else we're going to sign this window. What else is coming through the door at this moment? Obviously, we'll discuss it a bit more probably in a bit, but going off what we've got so far, it would probably be Loser and Kipriano in as those 2, and then have Chadwick-Hatsey as the 10, Bar on one side, Irankunda potentially on the other, and then Kjerrumgaard up top. Do you reckon that's potentially what the setup is that they want based on the money that's being spent?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it right now, that's probably what it would be, but you rarely ever start a season the same way you end it in terms of, which players you're actually using. Like you could see, Chakbatadze goes and has a terrible season, and then, we're glad we've signed all these other players, and now Vatter's playing every week. You don't know how it's going to go. Bar is still recovering from that injury. He might not be ready to go straight away. So it's just really, really nice to have options. Where we might have too many options is potentially at striker. We've got 3 of them. I really want to see Dumbia do well for us, but is he going to be better than Semedo and Kjerrumgaard? I have no idea. It's that good problem to have. Again, they're all going to push each other, but yeah, potentially if we're only playing 1 striker for most of the season, might be hard to get minutes for some of them.
He still wants 1 more though, doesn't he, Ben? Based on the conversation we've had previously, he wanted 4 strikers for the start of the season.
We heard that he wanted 4 strikers. Yeah, I haven't heard if we're looking to bring in any more, but I think Irankunda can play centrally. There might be a couple more who might be able to play a bit more centrally. I don't think you need another 4th one. They've really gone all out attack to improve the front 3, haven't they? Overall, do you class the front 3 as the strikers? Because they're so attacking. I do think though. I did read the article with Watford Observer earlier with Adam Jury. He had an exclusive interview with Kwadwo Bar, and I got the impression that Kwadwo Bar won't be playing week in, week out for Watford next season, because he knows that he can't push himself in every game like he did last season, and I think he forced that injury a little bit. He said himself that he gave 100%, which was probably a bit too much. You can't give 100% all the time. And that's where his injury came, and I got the impression that he's understood that. So I think there's going to be a lot of rotation next season, and I think it's going to be exciting for Watford fans when it comes to the 60th minute. And if we're struggling to knock on someone's door, you can just rotate the wingers and the strikers, and you just go again. But the fullbacks and defenders are going to be knackered from being run ragged from all the youthful, exciting players that we've got, and then they're like, oh, they're coming off, they might be bringing on a 30-year-old striker. Oh no, wait, Watford don't do that. We only have 21-year-olds at the club, and just running ragged again and keep knocking on the door and get those goals to try and get the 3 points for us. So it's definitely a great headache to have, and I'm really excited for next season with all the additions that we've got coming in. And we've not even spoken about Pape Diallo as well. From what I was told earlier, Watford fans just need to be patient. Watford are confident on striking a deal with him. It's all just coming down to having to wait a little bit longer to August, and it all comes down to the point scoring system, which you know a little bit more about than myself. So I don't know if you want to go into details a little bit more about that, Cam, but supposedly some overseas players, they have to hit the right quota to join a club, and maybe with Papa Diallo, Watford don't have that just yet.
Yeah, first of all, you've thrown me under the bus there, because I know next to nothing about all this work.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I've been reading off that Twitter account that's come up. There seems to be an account dedicated to these work permit things, and they are loving Watford at the moment because of the amount of sort of foreign players that we're signing that don't get work permits. Yeah. But
they're respecting Watford for what they're doing, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. We're using Udinese to help. That's why Selvik qualifies. That's why Kjerrumgaard is that it? Yeah. Kjerrumgaard.
That's it.
Yeah, Kjerrumgaard qualifies potentially if we use Udinese for him. With Diallo, yeah. Look, it sounds just like a work permit issue. You get, for those that don't know, you get 2 governing body endorsement slots. I think that's what it stands for. GBEs. You get 2 GBE slots. You can give those to 2 players, and basically they'll be exempt from the work permit rules, is my understanding. And I think Mamadou Dumbi has got one of them right now, and I have no idea who's got the other one. I think Rajovic had one potentially. And now he's gone, so that's opened it up. So I don't know who does and doesn't have a work permit in this squad. Evidently, Semedo doesn't have one. But yeah, there's going to be some sort of movement, sort of when the Ligue 1 season starts in France, and it sounds like that's when Diallo will potentially go to either us or Norwich, but. I mean, based on what we're being told, I think it's pretty likely that we'll end up signing him.
Yeah, he's already had his medical over in France from what we saw on social media, and it sounds like he just needs to be included in one match day squad, which gives him more points, which then allows a move to an English club. So just watch his space, really. So just stay patient, Watford fans. I've been told it's not like you go to the shops and you use Apple Pay to buy players. Some things, that was the quote I was given earlier. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than just getting your phone out and waiting for that beep noise to hear the transactions gone through. So just sit tight, Watford fans. We will probably get another winger through the door soon. Peter Crouch pops up saying, what about Semedo? Another great option up top. I wanted to talk about Semedo. Cam, are you massively impressed with how good his English is? Did you see his interview?
I didn't see his interview, so go to Joe with this one.
I'll go to Joe for this one then. Joe, how impressed have you been with Semedo's English?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it either, but I've heard it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I've heard his English is pretty good. So
I'm really good.
Do you know what? From what I've heard from and read on Twitter, there was a lot of talk when he signed. He seems like an exciting player as well to have as part of the squad, and he'll offer something a lot different, I think, to Kjerrumgaard from what I've read. He's very pacey. He likes to high press. Hopefully, he presses better than what Bio did. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the squad.
Yep, and let's talk very briefly about the signing that has been announced. Ousmane Mama. He obviously signed on a 4-year deal, undisclosed fee at first. What I was told was the player suddenly became available and Watford had to move quickly to secure him for a good fee. And then later on, we were told that he actually signed for under £300,000, which is just, a really good fee for someone who is very talented and played a good amount of games over in France. Okay, Montpellier struggled last season. I think they got relegated. But yeah, he still picked up some good bits and pieces. We was told that he wasn't a starter right now. He has potential and promise. And like other forwards, he's a similar ink to what we've signed before under Gino, where we look to develop and maybe look to sell on in the future. Originally, he was touted for maybe a loan move away from Vicarage Road, but he's impressed Pezzolano and others behind the scenes, and he will be in around the first team squad for the season coming ahead. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in some preseason games. Maybe you both might see him at Leyton Orient, and for others, maybe people might see him at the Deportivo La Coruña game, which is coming up at the end of July. Lots of exciting news going on at Watford regarding transfers. Let's talk very briefly about outgoings. One was confirmed earlier. Mileta Rajovic has left the club, Joe. Actually, I come to Cam first because he's just thrown his hands up in the air celebrating. So Mileta Rajovic has left Watford to join Legia Warsaw for a Polish record transfer fee. Mike put into the group chat earlier. Watford would guarantee 2.85 million euros for the Danish striker. The Hornets have doubled their money on Rajovic, who joined from Kalmar over in Sweden in 2023. Rajovic joined Watford in August 2023 and ended the season a top goal scorer with 11 goals. In 24-25 season, he started with a bang for Rajovic when he headed in a last gasp winner in the 3-2 opener away at Millwall. He went on to bag a double in the 2-0 Carabao Cup success over Plymouth Argyle before returning to Denmark to spend the remaining of the campaign on loan at Brøndby. Rajovic made a total of 48 appearances for Golden Boys, scoring 14 goals across all competitions. Firstly, Cam, fantastic bit of business for Watford to be able to double their transfer fee for Mileta Rajovic, but equally, I think this is a situation that Watford, Rajovic and fans all needed to end.
Yeah, well, I certainly needed this to happen, really. It's done me a world of good seeing that news. You know, the news broke a few weeks ago. You know, he was rumoured, we've sold him for 3 million. I needed to see that confirmed as soon as possible. And now we've got it, and I couldn't be much happier with that. He is, don't let the 14 goals in all competitions fool you. He is the worst player that has played for us since I started watching us. Admittedly, not been watching us for
that's a shout, Cam. I think this is my.
I started the 18-19 season was my first season, and there has not been a worse player than Rajovic since then. He's not a footballer for a start. The
You've
guy
not seen
was
Matthew Briggs play?
No, he was a bit before me. Just the worst. And like he scored some goals. Okay, that doesn't mean he would score more goals if he stayed, like some people think. He's never been a prolific goal scorer anywhere except I think it was the Danish third tier that he was in, where he scored like 9 goals in 13 games or something. I've done my research into this because I fucking hate watching that bloke. He's never been prolific anywhere. It's a complete myth that he's a goal scorer. yeah, right time to get rid. Amazing that we fleeced a bit of money out of it. I mean, I would have paid 2.85 million out of my own pocket if I had it to send him over there. So the fact that we've actually convinced a club to pay that kind of money for him, I take back what I said earlier. Gino can he can have the club for
The keys to the town.
He can have the keys to Watford for pulling that one off. Fair play to him. Gianluca Nani, give him a lifetime contract. And
you know what? I've actually enjoyed Gianluca. I can't even get my words out. Gianluca Nani. I've really enjoyed what he's done lately as well, and I think that's gone under the radar a little bit. Maybe he's had a lot of to do behind the scenes with these ins and outgoings.
Listen, as of today, he's in credit. I'll give him that. But last season was a bit of a shambles. Whether I don't know how much he had to do with it, but evidence suggests I don't think Gianluca Nani is, one of the top recruitment guys in football. But yeah, he's doing a better job this season. I'll give him that. And to get 2.85 million for a player that bad, it's incredible. So yeah, fair play. We've done really well there, and part of me wanted him to stay just to prove everyone wrong. Basically, everyone who was saying, "Oh, this guy, if we kept him, he would have scored 20 goals," or we would have won away at QPR or whatever if Rajovic was on the pitch. Part of me wishes we kept him just to shut those people up, because I don't think he would have scored more than 4 goals if he stayed. I don't think he would have scored any goals. He's just not very good, and he's not the goal scorer everyone paints him out to be. And this can be my final rant about Rajovic, because hopefully we never have to see him play for us again. I'm sure he's a great bloke, by the way. Nothing against him, but never want to see him play football again.
Yeah, you certainly don't hold back on your feelings towards him. I thought it was a bit harsh when you said he was the worst player you've ever seen play in a Watford
He's
shirt.
the absolute worst. He can't play football.
I don't know. I think you're very critical of him. I thought his positioning was pretty good, and he was always in the right place at the right time. And as a striker, that's key. And I thought he did that superbly well. And he didn't get many chances, and anything other than putting the ball in the back of the net from 6 yards. Yeah, I agree. Awful. Doesn't contribute anything towards the team. But as a striker in that 6 yard box, when he comes alive, I would give him. I would bet my house on him to score. And
but the amount of chances he missed as well, like, he wasn't even very clinical. And I think he was just lucky, to be honest. He was lucky that we managed to force feed him enough chances for him to actually score some goals.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's your opinion. Joe, what's your thoughts on Rajovic leaving? The Great Dane?
Yeah.
The Hertfordshire Haaland?
I think Cam's been very, very critical. Admittedly, they're before Cam's
the day when
time.
Kiembe leaves.
I can name 3 strikers that are worse than Rajovic for a start that are put on Watford shirts. Nathan Ellington being one.
Yes.
Matthias Renegi, is it, being another one?
I don't. Mike loves him.
Renegi is the worst player I've ever seen. He's probably number 1, to be fair, and also Bio as well. The 3 of them.
When both him and Bio were at the club, it was unanimous that everyone preferred Bio.
No, but not being funny. Look, when did Bio ever get himself in a position where he'd score that header he scored against Birmingham at home? Where
he's had loads of those.
When's he giving himself that chance where he's got that instinct to go in for the ball at Millwall away? Bio never does any of that. No,
the amount of goals that Bio scored where the ball was just crossed into him and he was in the right place and it just in off him.
Bio just did his best to make it, to give a keeper a chance to try and save. Like, look at the one at Plymouth where he nearly missed an open goal. The one at Oxford where it took him 2 chances to score and he nearly missed that.
Yeah, look,
Bio's a donkey, mate. He's the one who needed to be on a plane first.
This is like picking someone to shag your missus, really. They're both shit, and thankfully they're both gone. But Bio was much better than Rajovic, and look, they were similar in terms of what they do, what they offer, but
you need to go and watch Udinese. I'm going to buy you a season ticket at Udinese, and we're just going to donate money. I'm going to set up a GoFundMe so we can pay for your flights every week, and you can go and watch Bio every week and tell me how fucking shit he is out there in Italy.
Well, at least it's not a flight to Poland.
Coming soon on the Voices of It, Cam's going to be starting Shag, Marry and Avoid with Baku and Bio. So I look forward to that. We'll do a different player each week and see what Cam comes up with.
We've got one of our regular listeners is in the comments. Sorry, with words that resonate very highly right now. Get lost, Joe.
No, it's the bottom one that's coming that's made me laugh.
Well,
look at him.
Oh dear. We're going to get cancelled soon. See,
you've got no drink, mate.
Mike's not even here, and we're getting cancelled. Right. So yeah, Mileta Rajovic is left Watford. Let's move on. Shag, Marry, Avoid. We'll leave that one behind. There's actually someone else who's actually left Watford today. Cam noticed this earlier, and I actually popped it down for my notes anyway. James Claridge. Me and Cam watched him come on as a second half substitute against AFC Wimbledon that weekend, and the academy defender has signed for Aldershot Town on loan until the 1st of January. Aldershot Town are a National League side. Claridge actually spent last season on loan at St Albans City in the National League South, so he's actually stepped up a level for his football next season, so it'll be a good way to develop for the youngster. Cam, thoughts on this? Obviously, it's a good move for him, really.
Yeah. I mean, he's clearly well regarded at the club. You know, there's always a bit of talk about him, especially last season. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this kid's actually got it." You know, he's pretty good with the ball at his feet, and he probably just needs that bit of experience, that bit of physicality added to his game, and could potentially be a good EFL defender. Now, this is the year for him that he needs to obviously have a really good breakout season, because I don't see him getting a chance at Watford in future if he doesn't just, you know, make light work of the National League. So hopefully he can do that. He's gone to a club that are normally up there. I don't know how they did last season, but Aldershot, they're normally up there, and hope he smashes it.
Yeah, they used to be in the Football League. Joe, did you go to see them when Watford drew them in the League Cup early stage rounds? I went there on like a Tuesday night, I think.
Yeah, first round of the Cup a few years back. We beat them 3-0.
That's it, yeah. Good old days. It was one to tick off. I hate doing this, Joe. You tick off all these teams in like League Two. They end up getting relegated, so then they don't count towards your 92. It's frustrating. There's so many teams I need to get back promoted.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Right, so there's certainly been a few. Mike's asked, any news on Daniel Batman's situation? He's just not been talked about at the moment or pictured in any training gear. From what I've heard, Daniel Batman will be leaving the football club. There is interest from Turkey. He hasn't fallen out with Watford. He obviously is at the age now where he needs first team football. Watford agree that he's also he's a number one, and he shouldn't be a number two. So he needs to go get game time. So there's been an agreement where Daniel Batman can look and explore his options to move away from Watford Football Club. Joe, what's your take on that?
Yeah. Oh, when it's all agreed wherever he's going, I'll buy him an Uber and send him wherever he needs to go.
You two are a nightmare.
That'll be some Uber to Turkey as well. It might even cost 2.85 million euros.
I'm really excited about him leaving the club. I can't thank him enough for his services and his fantastic shot stopping. But he can take his hot head and get on a plane and go wherever he likes to go. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Honestly, you two are just. I'm gonna swear because you both have sworn already. You're both a fucking nightmare. You're so disrespectful. I think it's been a good servant. It's been a good keeper. Yes, he's had his moments. He's had a bit of a tantrum here and there. He might have slagged off the Luton pitch before we went out to play and we lost. But overall, he was decent shot stopper. The main thing is what we're forgetting. We've got an upgraded goalkeeper, haven't we, Cam? Igor Selvic, Watford's number one. And he's fantastic in between the sticks, isn't he?
Yeah. We've upgraded massively. I don't even know if Selvic's actually that good, but just because of what we had to watch before him, it's night and day. My favourite Daniel Bachmann memory is, you mentioned that Luton one where, he said the pitch was unplayable and we went out on it and we didn't do any kind of playing, but Luton managed to somehow. The week after that, or a few days after that, we played Leeds away, didn't we? And he had a fight with a sprinkler before that. The groundsman sort of set the sprinkler off as Bachmann was walking by, and he just completely lost his head at this groundsman, had a right go at him, and proceeded to drop 2 clangers that game. So there was a massive mentality issue of him, but yeah, we'll leave him in the past. I think even though he wasn't really rated by many, he was still massively overrated. So yeah, Egil Selvik, great goalkeeper, pretty much good all round, distribution, commands his area, good shot stopper. Bachmann wasn't really any of those things for me. So yeah, we've upgraded in pretty much every aspect you possibly can. So yeah, on to the next season with a proper goalkeeper.
Yeah, no, it's I'm looking forward to having him in between the sticks all season. I did say when we was recording towards the end of the season, we was like talking about our players of the season, and I said if we had Selvik for longer, he would have been my player of the season because I thought he didn't put a foot wrong. Maybe one little error at Portsmouth away, but you give him that. Considering the goalkeeper we did have in the stick beforehand, he was very consistent, great with his feet, and that's going to be a clear instruction for next season. Joe, I think Pezzolano is going to be pretty adamant on wanting to play out from the back, and Selvik certainly can use his feet, can't he, to help us get the ball rolling from outside the penalty box.
I think he's very good when it comes to distribution. He's very quick as well. He's got that calming presence when he's got the ball. I think you can see that the defence are more assured when he's between the sticks. I agree with everything Cam said as well. He is a great keeper. He makes some very good saves, and I think he's a massive upgrade to what we've had. So, like you said, looking forward to having him for the whole season next season, and not half the season. So yeah, hopefully, what he brought to the team for that second half of the season takes in from the start of this season, and I think we'll look a very good side with, or a better side with him between the sticks.
No, definitely. Right, so let's talk very briefly about the preseason games. I know we've been discussing quite a bit about transfers, but we'll just squeeze in quickly about preseason. Obviously, I've been to 2, and Cam's been to 1. So I'll come to Cam on this one. For people who haven't watched Watford in preseason, Cam, what would you say the formation is and the playing style, or any clues on what we can maybe expect in the Championship?
Yeah, it's very clearly a 4-2-3-1, and you can see that because Sissoko was practically a second striker at times, but also it was Louza and Cipriano. They were the 2 sort of holding midfielders, and they very rarely broke into the final third. They just sat back the whole time, and they were happy to do that. It was a very direct style. The ball was being sort of fizzed into Doumbia, and we were letting him hold it up. So hopefully Kjerrumgaard can do the same. Hopefully he's got good hold-up play. But also there was clearly an emphasis on winning those sort of second balls, those knockdowns in the midfield. And I feel like that's why Kyprianou and Dromo are going to be quite big this season, because they are those sort of physical, defensively aware players that they sort of know very well what's around them, and they know how to challenge for those second balls. So, yeah, we were getting a lot of that where Kyprianou would step in, he'd win the ball from the knockdown, and he'd play it forwards, and then we'd be in on the break. And there was also we had no issue at all getting Vata on the ball. He was very, very lively and sort of the key to everything we did in attack. So yeah, there's a lot of that sort of the wingers staying very, very wide and sort of dictating the play from there. So lots to be excited about. And of course, how could I forget the thing that sort of builds to us every season now, intensity and pressing. And you could see it to great effect at times. You know, we weren't giving Wimbledon a second to calm down with the ball at the back, and that's going to be another big thing of why we have so many attackers and so many young attackers as well, because you've got to keep that intensity. You know, you've got to be consistent in how you play. But like this, we're gonna wear those players down very quickly. So yeah, again, it's good to have those options, and hopefully we can see that intensity sort of translate into a 46-game season. Whereas, you know, under like Ishmael, for example, it sort of peters out after preseason. Or Vladimir Ivic, you remember that Tottenham game where, you know, we were the most intense team in the world, and then it just becomes, you know, slow, lifeless football. So hopefully we can keep at that. But yeah, I'm very encouraged by what we saw on Saturday. I don't know if you saw the same, Ben.
Yeah, and a couple of other things I noticed as well. They heavily got Dumbia involved in the game as well. So it looks like they want to try and involve the centre forward as much as possible. And he was holding the ball up, linking up play. He was driving with the ball. I was really impressed with Dumbia as well. And I mentioned to Cam, I was like, he's doing all right there. And then he gave the ball away, 1 second later. And Cam made the point of me jinxing it. But yeah, it looks like they're going to heavily use the centre forward in the build-up play. There was lots of space being created over on the fullback areas as well, because what we've been doing is we've been putting one of our fullbacks into centre midfield to try and create more space over on the right-hand side. So if the ball was over on the left-hand side, say with Mark Bowler, you would then find maybe Ryan Andrews on the right-hand side. You think they're stretched the pitch, but they're not stretching the pitch. He's actually coming in to the centre midfield, which then opens up the bigger gap for the winger. So whoever it be, Quadro Bar over on the right-hand side. So they're making those little changes by dragging someone in, but then stretching play at the same time to give them a little bit more space to play over. And yeah, I same as you, Cam, I noticed how intense it was for pressing. Rocco Vata was heavily involved in it. And yeah, obviously playing out from the back. So there's lots of things to take from. Who impressed you on the weekend, Cam? And who probably you thought, nah, they're not for me, there's time to maybe move them on?
Yeah, I was impressed with Dumbia, as we said. Vata, they both impressed me a lot. Ryan Andrews had a surprisingly good game. I feel like in a game like that, his pace is just, it makes it easy for him. So yeah, hopefully he can carry that into a league season as well. I thought Pollock really struggled, and the big reason for that is we're still playing him on the left. I've been very hot on this. We cannot be playing Pollock on the left. He had a pretty shocking second half of last season, mostly because we were playing him there, and he just doesn't look comfortable. Whenever the ball comes to him, he just doesn't seem to know what to do with it when he's on his left foot. So yeah, it's I'm hoping we either sign a left-footed centre back, or maybe a Banquer plays there for the season. He's a bit more comfortable. I don't know, but that's something to address for me. I didn't think we got Loser too involved. Now, hopefully that's just, because it's pre-season. But if we're playing a bit more direct, he's potentially not going to be as involved. So, yeah, that might be something we've got to get used to. And we've got to remember that we might not get the Imran Loser that we had last season. There's a lot of talk about how we wanted to leave. He's only really had maybe 1.5 good seasons since he joined the club. So, yeah, you've got to remember that we could potentially get the same Imran Loser that, was sat on the bench for a little while and got loaned out and so on. And yeah, I really hope we don't. But the signs from that game were, we struggled to get him involved, and he didn't really have a mark on the game. One more little shout out. I will say Sissoko looked all right, playing further forward.
Yeah.
I think that's where you need to put him. You can't give him any defensive responsibility. Just let him stay up there, let him use his body and let him run. That's what I'd suggest with him. And I thought he looked all right, and he might be. I doubt he's going to play much, but he might be fairly important with his experience this season on our younger squad. So, yeah, I think that's everything that I had to say about it, really.
Yeah. Duomo, I was really impressed with him when he came off the bench. He was fantastic. Everything he did with the ball, he just looked to get the ball forward, and he made Tom Dele-Bashiru look awful. Tom Dele struggled that game, I thought. Everything, every time the ball went through him, it was going backwards. Where Duomo was positive, he was quick, neat touches, interceptions. He was mustard. It was so good, and obviously he capped the game off with a goal as well, with a tap in up the other end. Special quick mention, Cam, the youngsters that came off the bench actually made an impact, because Watford 1-0 down through a penalty that wasn't a penalty. That was a poor decision from a referee. Watford reacted really well, came back into the game and scored within a few minutes. And then substitutions happened straight away. But we brought on a lot of youngsters, but the quality didn't dip. We competed and we created some good chances over the back of the youngsters coming on. Did you want to talk quickly about the youngsters?
Yeah, one in particular that really impressed me was Amar Sangrajka. Played at right back. I don't know if he's typically a right back. I had in my head that he's a midfielder, but played at right back, looked very, very comfortable there. Wasn't just sort of, he was involved. It was that he was actually making things happen. He was driving forwards with the ball, and he looked like a really smart player. So, yeah, one that I'd like to see more of. And actually, he was wearing the number 13 shirt as well, which it's pre-season, so might not mean much, because Adipoku was wearing quite a low number last season. But it could potentially suggest that he's involved. I don't know. Also, notably, that is João Ferreira's squad number, so who knows what's going on with him. But yeah, definitely caught my eye. Did Sangrajka, and Claridge as well had a solid game. Nabizada wasn't too involved, but on the other side, Messiah Edwards was really, really good, and yeah, I hope we see a lot of him this season.
Yeah, I was saying to you, I thought he was watching him last season. He looked skinnier, but it looks like he's starting to bulk up a little bit now, which will only benefit him going forward. Another player I mentioned, Jack Greaves, came on. He's been playing centre forward for Watford, because obviously we haven't had the other strikers available yet. So Dumbia has been playing 80 minutes, 70 minutes, but have been replaced by Jack Greaves, and he's been playing through the middle. And he's very built, and he looks decent. I don't think he's going to get much game time at Watford. He might have to explore his opportunities to maybe go out on loan, or maybe look to play his football elsewhere. But I was very encouraged by the youngsters. Joe, do you think with all the youngsters that we're mentioning now that they're probably not going to get much of an opportunity at Watford next season, but it's all about going out and getting that experience under their belt to hopefully maybe kick on next season to maybe get in and around the first team again?
Yeah, there's one in particular that I've enjoyed myself. seeing in a Watford shirt again is Jack Greaves. He's someone who, he was highly thought of at the club before he went out on loan. I think was it Ross County he went to last season on loan, and apparently it was quite a promising loan spell. So like you say, with any young player, I mean, sometimes there's just that odd one, isn't there, that just comes in and the fit seems right, and they get an opportunity to kind of flourish through the season with the first team, get included in a few more match day squads than some of the others potentially. But, it'll be telling when obviously we play Norwich City at home in the Cup. I know it's Norwich, but it's still a cup game. It'll be interesting to see, especially after the result against Charlton on the Saturday, because, if we win, if we beat Charlton, the manager will want to build momentum and keep that going. So I imagine he'll probably play a bit of a stronger squad. If we lose, obviously he's going to need to play quite a strong squad to try and obviously make it so that we've not lost and then got kicked out of a competition within 4 days. So yeah, I really do hope that some of the young players do get a chance, because like I say, we've got some exciting talent at the club, and with the players that are coming in as well, it's very, very promising for us. I think the future is bright at Watford FC at the moment.
No, definitely. Talking of Charlton as well, tickets are going on sale tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Obviously, for Category A will come out first for Wednesday, and then the following categories will come out later on in the week. I am looking to get tickets, and I believe Joe and Cam will also be looking to attend the game as well. So if you see any of us there, just say hello to us. We'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. Funny one, my missus, Cam, I haven't told you this. Obviously, I went to the game with Kate and Isla at the weekend, and when we was walking up to the steps, Kate told me all this when we got home. She said, "You know what? I meant to tell you this earlier, but when I was walking to the steps, someone said, 'That's Ben Ayton there,' and I was like, I've never had anyone come up to me saying, 'Hey, this is Ben from the Voice of the Vic.'" And then later on, because I took a selfie, and the gentleman who mentioned that's Ben Ayton was in the back of a selfie, and he actually commented on the photo on Twitter saying, "Oh, sorry, I ruined your family photo." And I've replied back to him. It's a gentleman called Simon. So Simon, don't be shy. Say hello to me. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. I'm just a regular Watford fan, just like yourself. So, but honestly, mate, you didn't ruin the family photo or anything. Just wanted to say, if you see any of us at a Watford game, just come up and have a chat with us. We're just 3 Watford fans who enjoy talking about Watford and got a podcast. So, yeah, just come up and say hello to us. And, we don't bite. Well, maybe Cam might bite with his views on Mileta Rajovic and Snag, Marry and Avoid and all that on bio. But yeah, we'll leave that for another day. But
and if you're having any trouble sleeping, go talk to Joe, especially.
Yeah, I think Joe is guaranteed to get you to sleep. But yeah, I think that's going to be a wrap for this episode of The Voice of the Vic. So thank you very much for listening, as we shared our thoughts on Watford's pre-season so far, and also the hectic transfer activities that's going on at Vicarage Road at the moment. Big thank you to Cam and Joe for joining me tonight. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on our social media channels and stay up to date with and join the conversation. And if you haven't already, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel. Just search Voices of Vic, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you never miss an episode or any of our extra content. We'll be back very soon for more preseason chat, more transfer news as we build up to the new campaign in the 25-26 season under Paolo Pezzolano. So take care, everyone, and come on, you Warns.